This is my fourth interview with Sylvia. A year previous, Sylvia had been a member of a workshop in which I offered to put on a demonstration interview. I asked for volunteers, and she was the first one to volunteer. In front of that workshop audience, I held 3 interviews with Sylvia. Then a year intervened before this 4th interview. The interview will be shown as it was recorded, but with comments both from Sylvia and from myself at points where we felt we wished to clarify what was going on or to make some comment about what was going on.
Hi.
Hi, Carl.
Good to see you.
I've been looking forward to this moment.
Well, I'm eager to know what's what with you.
Well, do you mean in terms of the past year or right now?
No, right now, whatever your concerns are in your present life, I guess that's what I'm interested in.
Well, I've come here with an agenda.
Okay.
Like a particular thing I'd like to discuss with you.
All right.
And I think that discussing it will be helpful in terms of my life.
Mm-hmm. Then that's what I'd like you to discuss.
Well, I think I'm doing very well in many ways, and I need to do some work too.
Mm-hmm.
And the most pressing thing with me is that I plan to go to work in the fall, full time, and have the care of both of my sons without any support other than what I'm earning. And I don't feel very upset about it, but I believe that deep down in my body I'm really afraid.
Are you afraid of the responsibility, or what aspect of it is most frightening?
Well, what seems most frightening as I think about it is coming home from work, very tired, and having 2 little boys that need a lot.
Will you really be able to be a mother to them when you come home from work?
Well, I'm sure I can do it because it's done every day. And the women I know who are trying to do that are having a really hard time. And I've been thinking about talking about this problem now with you. I haven't really, I talk about it in a heady way with my friends, and I haven't given myself any real support with it. It's a real fear I have, and it'll probably be really hard.
It's interesting that because she had saved up this problem to talk about, at the moment she begins to talk about it, she begins to get teary. That's why I reached for the Kleenex, which she didn't use. But it's evident that though she may have talked about it in an intellectual fashion to her friends, it really does have a lot of emotional import for her.
Well, I don't know if it's obvious to you, but I started to cry when I said that need a lot, and I was feeling a lot of sadness. And then I'm not going to.
And you haven't really had a chance to explore it in depth. You've talked about it more on the surface level.
Well, the exploring I've done is I decided for myself, well, simple. I'll look for other single working mothers with young children who are doing well, and I'll talk to them and see what they do. So I started asking my friends, asking some people I know, do you know of this kind of person? Well, after about a month, I didn't come up with one.
Is that right?
One single woman taking care of young children and working full-time who was doing very well. And that scared me.
So the track record that the other people have, the other women have, makes you really concerned about, will you be able to do it?
Well, that substantiates my concern.
Yeah, yeah,
I've had the concern.
yeah.
I keep wishing I could find some secrets to make it easier for myself, and the only secrets I can come up with are working half-time and being really, just barely, paying rent and food and so forth and so on. And I do know how to do that. And that may be what I decide to do.
It's one possible option at any rate.
But it seems like a real limited lifestyle.
And it's clear to me from the tears that came at the first that this is something you feel a lot of concern about, isn't it?
Oh, I feel I'm two things. All alone and somewhat doomed to fail.
I think at this point she was feeling quite discouraged after following a very good plan. Some of the responses along here are almost mechanical, like my saying that's another option. But then when I do pick up on the feeling that she had exhibited at the first, it brings up fresh all of the feeling that's stored up around that. And I think my response shows that I'm doing what I customarily try to do, to live in the client's experience and to feel whatever she's feeling. This is the important thing, to really go with the client into whatever feelings there are, and here I really go with her into her sadness. At times I feel almost as though I'm speaking for the client, and to me that's the relationship is good at those times. I feel as though I'm in the client's world. I'm saying things she could be saying, and when she says that's right, it shows that I have been right where she's experiencing it.
And doomed to fail, not that I will die or anything. I think doomed to fail and to be there for my children in a positive, cheerful, warm, loving way. And being a single parent, like I will be, their support system to a large extent. And it scares me to think of their main support as being exhausted and irritated and
Just feel I may not be able to make it. I may be doomed to failure by the very circumstances.
right. And talking about it this way, I feel two ways, like, oh, come on, Sylvia. Everybody else is doing it too. And on the other hand, like, you're willing to sit here and talk about it with me, and I appreciate that.
But you don't have to just tell yourself, oh, buck up, you can do it. It gives you a chance to really...
Right. Well, I do that, buck up, you can do it. I'll do that plenty. But I don't get much opportunity to be sad with somebody about it.
Yeah.
How hard it seems.
That's the thing, isn't it? That to be all alone with no support from anybody, it sounds like.
Well, I mean, there are people that care about me. It's like no financial support, and it's not like I'll have my mother next door or something.
You'd be alone with a heavy burden, and it is a sad prospect, really.
Feel sad. And I get when I depress myself by thinking, well, oh, sure, I can give up my children. And I think, well, I won't do that. I'm seeing it as a black or white thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not reality.
But it feels like reality that either you'd have to give up your children or else make a go of it.
And then I also feel suspicious of myself, like, well, Sylvia, you're used to so much of getting your needs met, like going out at night sometimes, having friends, and having a social life, and not being overtired.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see myself as pampered. And if I just wasn't so pampered, things would be a lot better.
That's when you kind of scold yourself
Uh-huh.
in that way. Mm-hmm. So to really feel you're going to be hemmed in by that, I mean, your life is going to be constricted a good deal. A lot of the things you've been used to, you just won't have.
And want for myself.
And want for yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
So it really does look like a very tough period, doesn't it?
Yep, it does. Like being able to be sad and complain about how terrible I'm afraid it's going to be, then I can, like now I'm feeling like, and I'm excited too, about facing it.
Sort of a new phase of your life, is it? That has excitement as well as dread in it, I guess.
Yeah, about seeing what it will be like,
Mhm.
in fact.
Mm-hmm.
I smiled a little bit there, and I think that I was feeling like a relief of tension, or I don't know how to describe it, but a relief of after crying and feeling sad, and then having that feeling pass to something else.
It's very often true that if I go with a client into sad or desperate or negative feelings, that then that satisfies that aspect of their experience, and then they can move on to something else. So that it's very common to have positive feelings follow very negative ones. Also, I might just comment here that these pauses seem very brief to me, but to some therapists, some counselors, a pause is very hard to bear. I don't find pauses hard to bear. This was her silence, and I was willing to let her have it and to speak up when she was ready. During those pauses, I'm very quiet inside. I really am quite content to wait. Sometimes I'm reviewing what she has been experiencing, but I'm not trying to look ahead, and I'm not thinking about the process. I'm just trying to feel it as it might be going on in her.
It'll be a new adventure, but it's one that you feel different ways about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I think about the most in terms of a problem area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like the way I started crying, it seemed like I just couldn't wait to get here to cry about it.
Mm-hmm.
A little
Mm-hmm.
dramatic that way.
Because it is, well, but it is a real sad prospect, and one, I guess, that you don't let out too much to other people, the sad side of it.
Right, I don't do that very well. I'm busy being strong unconsciously, or I am also busy being depressed.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned well. I believe being sad and scared are more dealing with it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being frightened of what you're taking on and sad at what you're losing for yourself. Those are two very real feelings.
And I also think that part of my fear and excitement is that I'll be doing something different. Like I've never worked in my profession and been like a competent single woman with young children who are doing well, and it's like that's what I want for myself.
It's a goal you've been working toward. I wonder sort of, how do your children feel about this?
Here I simply followed my impulse. Because I found myself thinking about her children, I raised that question with her. Whether that was a good move or not from a counseling point of view is hard to say until we see what happens next. You might think in viewing this that I had thought about what was going on and decided, here's a piece that's missing, here's something she hasn't talked about. Actually, that's not the process that goes on in me. I try to be open to whatever wells up in me and to say that, to act more from my inner feelings and from thinking about the process.
Well, my youngest son wants me to go to work so that we can have more money and so that he can have more spending money. And my oldest son has not at this time agreed to live with me yet. But I'm preparing with the hopes that he will at that time. He is will be living with me the rest of the summer.
So that's another new part of the...
And my oldest son and I have a very strained relationship. He hasn't been living with me the last 2 years. And so that's going to be another difficult part of what I'm talking about, is at the same time needing and wanting to improve my relationship with Senate and hoping there'll be money for counseling. I'm hoping that we can do work with a third party or in a family group of some sort, because I believe that we'll need help. And so that part of the fall or the coming year scares me too, about feeling so alienated from Senate.
Will he really accept me as a mother?
Well, when he says, will he really accept me as a mother, to me that is showing me he's listening to what I'm saying. And it even, I don't know if it was or not at that time, but it could be very easily have been a helper to me to help me focus with what I was wrestling with in terms of understanding or clarifying for myself what I was thinking about it. As his mother, as someone who loves him and cares about him.
So that's a concern to you too.
And can we get along? Can we live together? We haven't lived together, and he's lived in a very different lifestyle.
Can we really form a relationship of the kind that both of us would like?
Pardon?
You're asking yourself, can we really form a relationship that both of us will like?
Yeah, and be happy. And that's an important, I hadn't thought of that on my own, but you mentioning my children brings up the part about Senate, which is a very important part of what I think about. And I'm happy I'll have him with us during the summer, and we'll be able to have time.
You can get a start on that.
Yeah, when I'm not working, for example.